Hello and welcome to After the Whistle's NFL Mock Draft Special. I'm your host, Brian Dorrington, here with meticulous Mukala Kabungo, who just put on sunglasses. I didn't even see him pull these things out.
This is my new prop.
Yeah, where were you keeping those?
Yeah, I had it in my back pocket.
That's good.
I brought it out just for this show.
Yeah, it is getting brighter in here. We did turn the lights up.
Somebody keeps calling me a diva, so this is the ultimate diva thing to do.
Yeah, fedora is a pretty diva-ish too. Maybe I'll rock the fedora, or you can do the sunglasses.
Or a fanny pack, something you want.
Fanny pack, I do want. That's not really diva. That's just very convenient to carry things in. I don't think that's diva at all. But today we're going to go through a whole NFL mock draft, all 32 picks in the first round.
Best time of the year, right?
Best time of the year. The draft starts this Thursday at 8 p.m. You can watch it on NFL Network, ESPN 1, ESPN 2, and it's actually going to be streaming on Fox, which I didn't know. I think this is like the first year that's going to be on regular broadcast.
Yeah, it's the first year. It's never been on local.
Yeah, so there's no excuse not to be able to catch the NFL draft. Okay, so let's jump into it. First overall pick, Browns. Who do you like?
First of all, the Browns, if something goes wrong, the Browns would be the only team in the NFL, them along with the Jets, to screw up something. So, you have the number one pick. For some reason, I just have it in my mind that the Browns are somehow going to screw it up.
They're going to screw whoever they draft up is the big problem.
That too. So, Sam Darnold, good luck, because you are going into one of the quarterback black hole, as we could call it.
Yeah.
How many quarterbacks have they had since like 2000?
Oh, way too many. I don't know.
So Sam Darnold, good luck to you, man. You leave in Southern California, the nice weather, to go to cold Cleveland, where
you could be hanging out with LeBron though. Actually, no, probably not.
No,
LeBron's gone.
Yeah,
LeBron's gone. So he's going to be all alone there.
Yeah,
it's going to be Darnold's town for sports for a while.
And he might be depressed after the first month.
I think so. It is a depressing place. Well, it could be Josh Allen. I agree with you that it's going to be Sam Darnold, but what makes this draft, and especially this first overall pick, is that it's 50-50. A lot of people are saying Allen, a lot of people are saying Darnold. I think Allen is the riskier pick, definitely, just because he hasn't played against that high-end talent. And Darnold seems like, he seems like a guy who would be better fit to jump in on day one. I don't know if they're going to ask him to do that. I don't think they're going to ask him to do that. But if it's needed to, it's necessary, I think he's better off in that role than a guy like Josh Allen.
Yeah, and I don't know why everybody's so sold on Josh Allen. I'm not sold on Josh Allen. I can't, a guy that he's completion percentage his whole life has been a problem from high school to junior college to college, so I don't see that.
But he throws the ball like 70 yards in the air. Like, that's just unteachable.
Yeah, but you still need to have, is he completing these passes? I don't think so. Maybe he'll be better off with better talent, but I'm still not sold on him.
Okay.
I don't think he should be picked even in the first round. That's just my thought.
Wow, okay, that's an extreme point of view.
I don't think he's a first-round talent, but Cleveland, go with Sam Darnold.
Well, we'll see where you have him going. How about number 2, the Giants? This is another one that can go a few different directions, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think there's, 3 different players who could fit in here.
I was about to. How many you have? 3. You have it going like 3 different ways as well?
I could have it 3 going, but I'm just going to say what I'm going to predict. But it could go 3 different ways.
Yeah, same way I had it going 3 completely different ways. They could have went with an offensive lineman. They could have went with a defensive end, or they could have even went with a quarterback.
Yeah.
But I believe they're going to go with Saquon Barkley because he's the second best player in this draft. He'll be key. Second best offensive player in this draft, I should say. He'll be key for the Giants for their attack because Odell is coming off an injury. So coming off an injury, you don't get right until, sometime in the middle of the season, you start getting everything, starts getting back together. But Odell, he's still going to be working his way back in. You need to really. Eli Manning can't be back there throwing the ball 35, 40 times a game. It's just he doesn't have a strong arm anymore. He throws a lot of ducks. So you just need a guy who can run and catch, and I think Saquon Barkley would be the best fit for the Giants. I
was agreeing with you until they released JPP. And I think they need a replacement on the edge. And Bradley Chubb is a rare pass rusher. I think he might be the best overall player in this draft, non-quarterback. So they can't go wrong with Saquon Barkley. Personally, I think it's very high to draft a running back in the first round, especially second overall, especially as we talked about last week on the regular After the Whistle, that they don't have the longest careers in the NFL anymore. So it's a risk. I think you're going to get more out of a guy like Bradley Chubb. I think it's probably it's 50-50 right now, but I'm leaning towards they're going to go with
Who was the
Chubb
last top 5 running back? Was it Trent Richardson?
Oh God, I don't know. Was it Trent Richardson?
I think he was the last running
back.
And
look what happened to Trent Richardson.
I think that kind of scared a lot of GMs from drafting a running back that high. Because I'm thinking Adrian Peterson was
really high too.
He was a high pick, but Adrian Peterson should have never been playing college football anyways. He was a man amongst boys. So
yeah, he was a different breed of all time.
He was a different breed. He should have never even been in college.
We can't compare Saquon Barkley to Adrian
I'm just saying,
although
maybe
back. Who knows what his ceiling is? Impact.
Yeah,
same one.
So.
All right, so now let's go to another team who we said could seriously mess things up.
Yeah,
and who probably will.
They will mess this up.
The New York Jets at the number 3 slot. Who do you like here?
If they listen to us, they won't mess this up. But knowing the Jets, I'm still not over them picking whoever they did over Warren Sapp. That had to be one of the worst things ever. So, people are saying Baker Mayfield, but putting Baker Mayfield in New York is just not a good idea at all. Don't put that man in New York City because it'll just be Johnny Manziel all over again. Just New York version. So I have Josh Rosen going there. I think he's mature. I think they need a quarterback. I think he's the second best quarterback in this draft. And I think he could help them out a lot. I think that'll be a good pick for them if they pick Josh Rosen.
I think it's going to be Rosen too. And I think he is the most NFL ready of the top quarterbacks. And they're going to need, who are they going to start? They need somebody. I think whatever rookie comes in, they're going to see if this person, maybe not week 1, but eventually at some point in this season, they're going to want whoever they draft to be the starter. And I think Rosen's the most proven, ready to step in there and kind of lead the team there. He's not one of the risky ones. He's not like Mayfield or Allen. Those are riskier picks. So I think, and all reports are that's the guy the Jets are on.
And he seems very, centered and he knows who he is.
Yeah.
People are saying, does he care about football? And not because he talks about different other things. He's not. I think he cares about football, but he knows there's life beyond football. There's, I think he's one of those guys that knows I'm not playing football forever, so he always thinking forward and thinking ahead. So I think having him on the team will definitely be a solid pick for them.
Yeah, I think that's probably the one I feel most comfortable about so far. Okay, so number 4, the Browns. Can they mess it up with 2 top 5 picks? Can they really mess them both up?
Yes.
Oh boy. Okay, who are they going with?
They're going with Bradley Chubb. I think Bradley Chubb is going to be there for them. So him along with Myles Garrett, that's going to be a good tandem right there. So you have a quarterback, you have offensive guys. Now just focus on the defense and getting this guy. That'll be a tremendous help for their defense.
Okay. Well, I think that they're going to go with the best player left, and we mentioned him already, and that's Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
I think they're going to get 2 offensive impact players. Darnold's probably not going to be able to start from day 1. I don't think he really needs to.
Yeah.
But Barkley is a guy that can start and will start from day 1. Just look at the impact that Ezekiel Elliott and Leonard Fournette recently have had at successful running back positions as rookies.
And Tyrod Taylor's a quarterback, so you have a mature quarterback that, solid foundation for the team.
Absolutely.
Now we go to the Broncos. This team, they have a lot of needs. They do. And I had a few ways of go, but I think they're going to go with defense. And I think they're going to get the best defensive back that's in this draft, and that's Minkah Fitzpatrick, because he's a guy that could play safety, he could play cornerback, he could cover, he could tackle, and the Broncos, they've been drafting defensive players a couple drafts, so I think they're going to go that route.
I agree with you that Minkah is the best defensive back in this draft, bar none. But I think that they have to go quarterback here. And I think Josh Allen is the guy. I think he's been the guy all along.
Yeah.
He's the rawest of the top quarterbacks. But they have Trevor Siemian now, and Trevor Siemian can play at a decently high level for 1-2 years before Allen is ready to make the transition. And I don't think they're sold on Paxton Lynch. He's not the next guy. I think that at the number 5 spot, you got to go quarterback if you're John Elway.
Yeah, the quarterback and defense, but they flip a coin.
Flip a coin.
Yeah.
With all these top 10 picks, they're really all up in the air.
Yeah, if they go quarterback, Elway has to hit on the quarterback.
Now for Colts, their need, for me at least, is glaring, and that is offensive line. Who do you think that they're going to go?
They're going with Quentin Nelson, the offensive guard from Notre Dame. Yep. They have to go. They can't have their quarterback running around just running for his life all the time and taking all those hits. They need to protect him.
Yeah, the one of the premier quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows when he's even going to be back?
Yeah.
Remember we were going to check up on him? I didn't even do research and see what his timeline is, but they kept telling us last season he's going to play, and then he never ended up playing. He sat the whole season out, and it's because of all the hits and all of the damage that he's taken in his short career.
Just having to carry the load. It's like there was nobody to relieve him, especially other positions. I mean, they had Frank Gore for a time, but it was still, when he dropped back to pass, it was just, if he didn't get the ball out in a second, he's going to be running for his life or he's going to take a hit.
Yeah, it's a good thing he's a versatile athlete, too.
Yeah.
Did you imagine Tom Brady with that offensive line?
Oh, my
God, he wouldn't last the season.
He wouldn't last 2 games.
Okay, so if they don't go Quentin Nelson here, well, if he's still on the board, they have to go Quentin Nelson here. Absolutely, 100% sure. Okay, Tampa Bay, who do you like?
They're going to go with the big defensive tackle from Washington, Vita Vea.
Oh, that guy's a beast.
Yeah, I think that can help that team because they have the offensive weapons there. It's just their quarterback needs to mature. That's my concern with them. They have offensive players. They should get some more defensive players. They were an all right defense last season, but I think having him on this team, they do have some solid defensive players. So Levante Nelson, I forget the other defensive tackle, but he's from Oklahoma. He's been there for a while.
I wouldn't say their defense was decent. They gave up the most passing yards in the NFL last year. So
I was trying to be modest.
I think, So, I mean, you cut them a little bit of slack. So I think they're going to go with the best player on the board, Minka Fitzpatrick, somebody who can help in that pass defense. If he falls back to 7, I think he will because other teams have more important needs than safety ahead of them. So most in the league in giving up passing yards, nobody wants to be there. That's one of the worst stats now that it's a passing league. Minka can jump in and he can play. He's a guy who can play day one.
Yeah, I mean, you get a defensive tackle that could garner pressure that helps the defensive backs.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah,
Vita Vea is a man amongst boys.
He's a large man, a very large man. Now with the number 9 picks, number 8 picks, I should say. Sorry, I can't count apparently. The Chicago.
Do you know the alphabet at least?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's really all you need.
The Chicago Bears, the Bears' history, they always, every so often they go defensive players for majority of their draft throughout their history, and they always find a linebacker, a versatile linebacker. There's Brian
Urlacher.
Yeah, so I'm thinking they're going to do the same this year, and I think they're going to get the linebacker out of Georgia, Roquan Smith.
Well, I think that they need an offensive lineman.
Yeah, they do.
Especially to protect their young investment, Mitch Trubisky. But I think that Nelson will be off the board, and I think that it's too high to draft any of the other guys because, we'll get into this later in the draft, but there just isn't much of a difference between the younger guys, and you can't draft one of those guys with the number 8 overall pick. So they have a lot of needs. One of the needs, I think, is at cornerback. I think Denzel Ward from Ohio State is the best true cornerback in this draft. And they need some guys to be able to cover some of these NFC North receivers who are actually pretty good. You got Devonta Adams, you got Thielen, you got Diggs, Golden Tate. So they need a good cornerback, and I think Denzel Ward is that guy. He's a little on the small side, but he's got speed. And he's a good ball.
If you got speed, you'll be fine.
If you got speed, you'll be good for sure.
Now we go with the number. What are we at? Number 9 now.
Yes, there you go.
The 49ers.
You're doing good counting.
The 49ers. All right. So I was thinking maybe they should get more offensive players for Jimmy G. Since they gave him that contract, surround him with offensive players. But from last year's draft, they drafted a few defensive players in the first round, and I think they're going to go defense again to build their I think because John Lynch, he's a defensive guy.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm thinking he's going to go with a defensive player. So I think they'll draft Obadiah Okoronkwo.
Wow.
From the defensive end, I think he's going to the 49ers.
That is a bold prediction.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people even have him in the first round.
Hey,
I do not have him in the first round.
See why I put the shades on? I'm making bold predictions.
That is very bold. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
I will bet you it's not going to happen. I think they're going to go with Roquan Smith, like we said, out of Georgia. Great instincts, amazing tackler, especially with Reuben Foster's career. In San Francisco, uncertain. I think that they cannot pass up any linebacker. There's some other good linebackers, but I think that they need a linebacker for that security blanket because it's not looking good for Foster right now.
Yeah, I was juggling because Roquan Smith. If he was still there, if I had him still there, he would have went there. The other linebacker, I dropped him for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these teams have similar needs, and a lot of these players can be interchangeable, which is what makes this draft, I think, more exciting than other years in the past. Not to mention the amount of quarterbacks that could go in the first round.
Yeah, so with the number 10 pick, this is the one I had. He would have been on the 49ers, but when I chose to go to DN, the linebacker from Virginia Tech, Tremaine Edmonds.
19.
This guy's a solid player, and I think this is where his range is, from the 7 to 10. That's where he's going to be picked because he's that talent, but I think he's 19. You're going to draft this guy at 19. He's going to be a 20-year-old in the season. I mean, he's a great athlete, but I think that might hurt him. I wish he probably stayed another year in his college and maybe he'd be that high, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Hey,
I don't have him there.
19, he's youthful.
19 works in hockey. It doesn't really work in many other sports. Hockey and basketball it can work, but when you're playing these real physical guys, I mean, he's a great athlete, no question. Totally could happen. I'm going to go with Derwin James.
Okay.
He's a big-time playmaker.
Yeah.
Great in the pass, great in the run, and he's a big name. Florida State guy.
Yeah.
Did you have Derwin James going yet?
No.
You'll see. Okay, well, I'll see where he goes.
He's going in the first round, though.
Yeah, he's going in the first round for sure.
You'll be
Definitely top
surprised where I have
So I'm
him
going with Derwin James. The Dolphins here, I can't wait to tell you my Dolphins pick.
All right, but we're going on break.
Oh, we're going on a break. That's right, every 10 picks.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's the top 10. Stay tuned for 11 through
20.
20. There we go. That's the next 10.
Let's see, someone can't count.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
My friend James Gandolfini and I got to know a lot of combat vets over the years, and it guts me that 22 of you are taking your own lives every day. Wounded Warrior Project is here to help. You don't have to go it alone. You hear me? You don't have to go it alone.
Welcome back to the special ATW draft special, mock draft special. We are on to our first AFC East team pick, the Miami Dolphins. Oh, this got to be a big pick. He's taking the glasses off. Okay, let's see. So number 11 overall, Miami Dolphins. Who do you got?
They're going with Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward is going to drop to number 11. The Dolphins, there's another team that has a lot of needs. They need a lot. They need help. And defense wins championship. You need to find someone that can cover Brady's receivers.
What receiver now?
Yeah,
Who?
just somebody who can pick Brady off or something, or just somebody who could cover people man to man. I think they go with Denzel Ward, but it's the Dolphins. That's another team. I just think they're going to screw it up and pick somebody that we're just going to be like, oh, okay.
Well, I think
Ted Ginn, number 9 pick from like 2009.
Well, Ted Ginn's playing his best football now. Ted Ginn, Miami was a total bust for sure. So the Dolphins, I think they need to make a splash. Dolphin, get it? Water. See, it's kind of funny. They're going to put Baker Mayfield in probably the 3rd worst city that he could be in, and that's Miami. That's Miami. There's a lot of trouble in Miami that he should stay away from, but I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to make him relevant, and he's the most controversial player in this draft for sure, the most polarizing figure, and I wouldn't be surprised if he went earlier, and I would not be surprised if he went way further down in the draft, but I think Miami is going to see him at 11. They don't trust Tannehill. Tannehill's not getting them to beat Brady in the AFC East or Buffalo in the AFC East. They need to do something big. Baker Mayfield's the choice.
If they draft Baker Mayfield,
it'll happen.
They need to put the Dolphins on Hard Knocks, and I will watch it.
Yes. Oh,
I will watch
yes.
it if they draft Baker Mayfield, because this will be some disastrous stuff that's made for reality TV.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It is going to be a great, beautiful disaster to watch. I think they got to do it. If he's still there, it's going to be a great pick. All right, so let's go on to another AFC East team pick. I have a feeling we might have the same pick here.
No,
I don't know. Okay, we don't have the same pick. All right, go ahead.
This is another franchise that's known to just, they just screw things up. They just don't know what they're doing. But if they take my advice, they'll be on the right path. I'm not high on this guy. I already said it. I don't think he deserves to be in the first round. But this team needs a quarterback, and they need one badly after whatever nonsense they were doing last year with the quarterback they had. I think Josh Allen will be picked by the Buffalo Bills.
Josh Allen by the Buffalo Bills?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go quarterback too, and this is going to be actually, I think I mentioned 2 teams in the AFC. This will be the 3rd quarterback drafted by an AFC East team. I think they're going to go with Lamar Jackson, your guy. His draft stock has been rising. There's a lot of people say who he could end up potentially being the best quarterback out of this draft. They had a very similar player in Tyrod Taylor. They were able to have an offense around Tyrod Taylor. They don't have to make too many adjustments.
Yeah.
I think he's an upgrade from Tyrod Taylor. I can see him definitely falling it to the 12th spot, and I think that he will, and I think that the AFC East so far, all 3 of them have drafted rookie quarterbacks. Let's see what happens with the 4th.
Yeah, I just hope they don't throw him in the fire, because that won't be good for him. I hope they just make him wait before, if they go that route, I hope they make him wait before they throw him in there.
Well, he's more ready than Josh Allen.
Yeah, he is. Start. But I just hope, maybe like 7 after week 7 or 8.
Who are they going to put in? Nathan Perriman?
Yeah, might as well. Just throw that guy in there.
5 interceptions in 1 half or something last year?
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
That was sad.
They're not making any noise anyway, so just,
I mean, they made it to the playoffs last year, but they got rid of their quarterback. Yeah, they're not doing the right things.
Yeah, let him watch and learn. I think that's what happened when he was at Louisville. He was, his first year, I think he was splitting it with a quarterback, and then there was a game, they were splitting time, but then the coach went to Lamar Jackson for the second half, and then took off from there.
Okay, so we both think they're going quarterback at least. We got that one down.
Yep.
Okay, good. Boom, on the same page. Let's go on to the Redskins.
Another team, they need help.
They're so irrelevant. I always forget that they're a team for some reason.
And especially they're over there in D.C. too. You would think they would try to be relevant, but with them, I was just looking at their needs. They need a defense. They need offensive linemen. They need receivers. They need a lot of stuff. So I think they're going to go defense, and I think they're going to get Taven Bryan for the defensive tackle from the University of Florida. I think they're going to go that route.
I'd like to thank Pedro for cutting to me as I took a sip of water. I think that was probably intentional. Good one on your part, Pedro. Funny. So I'm going to go with a guy you already picked. I forget where you had him go. It's Vita Vea. Is it Vea? I think it's Vita Vea, the defensive lineman from Washington.
The Samoan.
The new Sioux. So it's not me. Somebody else came up with that, but it's true. He's got freakish size and athleticism, and I encourage you guys to watch his highlight reel on YouTube because it is scary.
He's probably faster than both of us.
Oh, God, of course he is. He's an absolute beast on the field. He could go higher. I wouldn't be surprised, but I feel like other teams have different needs, and defensive linemen come before him. Best defensive lineman, true, interior guy in this draft. He can get to the quarterback like Sue just by. He's one of those guys that you're going to have to double team from day one. So he is a big difference maker. Big on Vita Valle. We got to figure out how to pronounce it.
Maybe he might not even be there.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we got the Packers. Who would have thought the Packers would be picking 14 overall without having trading one of their picks? I mean, they just had a bust of a season. They had Brent Hundley playing the most of the year for an injured Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I mean, they were just a disaster. They got rid of Jordy Nelson. I wouldn't say they picked up Jimmy Graham. So this is a totally different team now. What do you think is going to happen at number 14?
They need to protect their quarterback, just like with the case of Andrew Luck. Mm-hmm. You have an all-world talent quarterback. You haven't been protecting him for the past 8 years, to be honest. They haven't been protecting him. If he wasn't so mobile, that guy would be getting sacked 60 times a year. So I'm a little skeptical on this guy that I'm about to say right now, but I think this might be the best way to go for them. They're going to go with Orlando Brown, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma. I'm not sold on him, but I think that's the bench press guy, right?
Yeah. That's the guy who couldn't bench press. That was pathetic. I don't think I have him in my first round. After Nelson, the offensive linemen are really hard to predict. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think that they're going to look at that 19-year-old Tremaine Edwards, who we just talked about, and just pick him up. He does have great athleticism, and he's going to be sitting there, and he's going to say, you know what, I don't know if we can pass this freak athlete up, sideline type player. I think they're going to look past the 19th thing. The Packers are going to get him at number 14. They do need help protecting Aaron Rodgers, but Edmonds, I think, at this spot will be too hard to pass up for the Packers.
They're always in need of defense, so yeah. Now the Arizona Cardinals.
This is an interesting team here.
Yeah.
They go a lot of different routes.
Yeah, a lot of glaring needs, but another guy I'm not sold on, but I think the Cardinals might be the team to take a chance on him, and I think Baker Mayfield will go to the Arizona Cardinals. They need a quarterback. Kurt Warner just retired. I mean,
Kurt Warner,
he's been retired.
I mean Carson Palmer,
Kurt Warner, two guys. whatever.
A little bit different player. Kurt Warner, two-time MVP and Super Bowl winner. Carson Palmer, not that.
I got a case of the Mondays, though it's not my fault. But I think Baker Mayfield will go over there. He'll sit a few games, just watching and learning, and then they'll throw him in there at some point in the season. They have weapons. They have offensive weapons.
They do.
They just need a quarterback. And Drew Stanton, he's a backup. You don't want him starting. He's a career backup. He'll be there just to help him, but I think Baker Mayfield will be the guy.
I kind of agree with you. I didn't do any mock trades because I kind of hate when people do that. I do think that there's a better than good chance the Cardinals move up in the draft somehow to get one of the quarterbacks who we mentioned, maybe up to the 5 pick. Who knows where they're going to go? But sitting at this spot, if they do sit here, I think they're looking at all the other quarterbacks and they say, you know what, our guy, all the guys we liked are gone, and they're going to go with Josh Jackson, the second best cornerback in the league. They need somebody help in the secondary to replace Tyrann Mathieu. So he's not a safety, but he's a cornerback who's good in coverage. They're another team with a lot of needs. You're right, They don't have a quarterback, but maybe they trust Stanton for this year. I do think they will trade up. I didn't do a mock trade. I don't know how it's going to play out. But that is also one of the more interesting things, is I could see a few of these teams trading up day of the draft.
Yep. Now we go with the number 16 pick. It's the Baltimore Ravens. This team, they're known to always draft defensive players. They're always drafting defensive players in the first round with their first pick. So I believe they're going to – I had somebody in here, but I think I made the switch. I think they're going to go with Josh Jackson.
You think they're going to? Okay, so we have him pretty close, Josh Jackson. That's about the range that he should be in. Yeah. I think that Joe Flacco needs somebody to throw the ball to. It's a weak wide receiver draft.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley is the consensus number one guy. I don't know if he's the number one guy, but that's how he looks like on every board. Is he going to be a number one wide receiver one day? I don't know. This is kind of a weak wide receiver draft, but they do need somebody for Joe Flacco to throw the ball to. Yep. They'll go with the best wide receiver on the board, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. So the Chargers, this is another team. I don't even know what route they're going, what direction this franchise is going. They still have Phillip Rivers there. I don't know. I just don't know the route the franchise is going. They always start off slow, then they make a run at the end of the season, winning so many games, trying to sneak into the playoffs. But this is just a weird franchise. So
another franchise I kind of forget exists until like maybe the end of the season. Kind of like the Redskins. Like, oh yeah, the Chargers. Oh, I remember them.
Yeah. So seeing that they have no direction and they have this quarterback here, I think they're going to go with Isaiah Wynn, the offensive guard from Georgia. I think they're going to get him to protect Phillip Rivers and just add some more years to his career.
I think that they definitely need help protecting Rivers too. I like the other guy from Notre Dame, Mike McGlinchey, however you're going to pronounce that. Very Irish name. Yes, double M. I like that. He's probably the best tackle in the draft, but who really knows with these offensive linemen? They get a little bit tricky after, like I've said a few times, after Nelson. So we're in agreement. They do need somebody to protect an aging Rivers, an aging quarterback. I think it's just going to be. It's a flip of the coin.
Definitely.
But they'll definitely go offensive line.
Yeah, the last part of the first round is always like, I'm just like, flip a coin.
This is where it gets fun. This is where it gets fun.
All right, now the Seattle Seahawks, another team. They've lost a lot of key players.
Yes, they have.
Biggest thing with them, protecting Russell Wilson. That guy was running for his life all of last season. If it wasn't for his ability to get out the pocket and make plays, I don't think the offense would have, passed the 50-yard line at all. So, protect the quarterback is the theme of this draft for me. Connor Williams, the big offensive tackle from Texas, is the guy that the Seahawks should get.
Yeah, they need help in a lot of different places. I'm looking at Marcus Davenport from Texas, San Antonio.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a 6'6", 260 some odd, close to 260 some odd pass rusher. Probably the second best edge guy in this draft after Bradley Chubb. I do agree that they could easily go offense, but I think they're going to see, this is going to be another one of those things where they see this guy, this potential game-changing defensive edge rusher, especially where they got Garoppolo now, they got Goff in their division.
There's a lot of
quarterbacks there. They're going to need somebody to get after the quarterback. So I'm going to go with Marcus Davenport.
Yeah, they definitely need that. Now the Cowboys, these guys, quite the offseason they've been having, huh?
Yeah, what are they doing?
Who knows what they're doing? My first advice is stop leveraging Jerry Jones' draft. He's not a good draft person anymore. He's
Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott. Come on. You got to give those two picks credit.
Yeah, but what about the other? I mean, Maurice Claiborne. He traded so many picks to get him.
Okay, yes, I'll agree for that one.
He's sketchy, but I think with him, they need a receiver. They just lost the receiver, and the best receiver in this draft, Calvin Ridley, will be available for them, and I think they should get him.
Well, if Calvin Ridley is available, I think they'll go for him. I had him going to the Ravens. So I do think they need a replacement for Dez. I'm going to go with the consensus number 2 guy.
Cortland?
Oh, you know what? I guess there is no consensus number 2. It's Cortland and DJ Moore. I'm going to go with DJ Moore. He's a little bit on the smaller side, but his stock is rising. Some people say he's better than Ridley. He's out of Maryland. I wouldn't be surprised, but I know they're going to go wide receiver too. After Des Bryant, they need a replacement. They need to take the load off Ezekiel Elliott. Jason Witten's getting older. Ezekiel Elliott, you don't want to just run a young guy into the ground, although that's what the NFL does these days with their young running backs, and then they don't re-sign them a few years later. I think they're going to go with DJ Moore. If Ridley's still there, they're going to go Ridley.
That'd be, NFL GMs, please listen to us. We know what we're talking about here. You guys are more wrong than we are. So
Yes, we're very right. So I think we're going to go to a break now.
wait,
and
we
we're
got to pick the 20th first.
So don't we take it before the 20th? Every 10 picks? Okay. So we'll do the
after
20
the
pick. Okay, so now we got Lions. Matt Patricia taking over for his first season as head coach.
Good
in
luck.
The NFC North. Good luck with Matt Stafford. I know he's your favorite quarterback, but I'm not totally sold on him.
Ooh, Pat Stafford. That's
Pat
what
Stafford,
That's
yeah.
what he's
Pat's-
nicknamed. Pat Stafford.
Pat Stafford. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So who are the Lions going to draft?
They are going, Patricia's a defensive guy. Lions always need defense. You need defense in the NFC North because apparently some of these quarterbacks in the NFC North are getting better. Trubisky, we're going to figure him out. I'm not sold on the guy in Minnesota. So they're going to go with Marcus Davenport.
Marcus Davenport. Okay,
Yeah.
so we both like Marcus Davenport. I know that he's going to draft defense. He has to. He's a
Yeah.
defensive guy. It's his first draft where he gets to make the decision. I like the Harold Landry from Boston College. Why not choose a guy with a little bit of New England roots? Take him over with you.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to go defense?
Yeah, that guy's going to be a solid NFL player.
There are a lot of solid defensive ends in this draft.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to take our break after the 20 spot, and then we're going to come back with the Bengals pick at number 21 overall.
The Bengals.
They are the team who can mess things up.
Calls me googly eyes.
You know you're beautiful, right? You know that?
Even you are beautiful. I got bullied for wearing glasses. Share if you're against bullying.
We put it out there, just took off. 3 million people have shared this post. Don't let bullies get you down. I stand with you. The whole family's wearing glasses. I wear glasses and I'm proud.
I even have the army on my team.
All the kind comments brought my child joy. I don't feel thank you is enough.
That's
And we are back with the ATW NFL Mock Draft Special, and we're talking about the Bengals, another team that we both think can screw up a draft. Probably one of the most dysfunctional, if not the most dysfunctional franchise, especially on the field in the NFL.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals, 21 overall. Who are they going to go
I wish
with?
we could just have another segment of Brian reading all the infractions of
Oh, Vontez Burfict?
Vontez
That was
Burfict.
good. That was good.
hilarious.
Maybe we can cut that in.
So I believe they're going to go wide receiver in this one. I think they're going to go with Cortland Sutton. Doesn't hurt to add more receivers. You have A.J. Green. Could have someone opposite of him. I don't trust the red hair guy. I don't trust him at all. I mean, he's just...
Ronald McDonald, what does he have to do with anything?
The redhead guy I'm talking about is Andy Dalton. I don't.
Yes.
There's something about redheads you can't trust.
Hey, we love our redheads who watch this show.
Yeah, we love them, the ones that watch the show, but the ones that play football, you can't.
That's true, I'll give you that.
Just can't trust them, and I don't trust their quarterbacks. But they're going with Cortland Sutton. I think he'll add a different dynamic to their offense. He's a speed guy. I think he can play the slot as well. So you can put him on the slot. You can put him on the outside. Maybe even run some trick plays for him. So that's where I think they'll go.
Yeah, I don't know. They're another team with a lot of holes to fill. I'm going to go with the guy that's linked to the Patriots a lot, and that's Colton Miller from UCLA. Did you already have him off the board?
No.
Did you mentioned you had Connor Williams off the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, they need somebody to protect Dalton. There's some pretty good linemen in this draft as well as quarterbacks. But like I said several times, they could go in any different order.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if some of the guys we're saying even got bumped to the second round or went a little bit higher. So that's where I am. I really cannot put myself in the Bengals general manager's head, nor do I really want to, because it's probably a little bit strange in there. But that's where I'm going for that one. Let's move on to the Bills' second pick in the first round, number 22 overall. We both had. Wait, who did you have him drafting first?
Who did I have him drafting? I had him getting Josh Allen.
Okay, so we both had quarterbacks. That's right. I got Lamar Jackson.
So now that you have a quarterback, you need somebody for him to throw the ball to. So I believe they're going to go with the speedster out of Oklahoma State, James Washington. And I believe that will be a nice pickup for them. So you'll have a receiver, you'll have a quarterback. Maybe with this receiver, this guy who can never complete 60% of his passes will finally start completing 60% of his passes. And if he does it, then, yeah, just like I said, he can't be trusted. He's not good.
Well, when you need a new when you have a new quarterback, you need to surround him with a wide receiver, you're right, but also a tackle. And this guy, Will Hernandez, I like him a lot. He's got a mean streak. He's a little bit like Richie Incognito. I think they'll get along together, get a lot of penalties. He's a big, tough guy. I think that they need to protect Lamar Jackson. Will Hernandez, I think he's the guy who get it done. Went to a smaller school. He went to UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso. So we'll see there. Okay, now the New England Patriots. We're finally on the clock.
Yeah.
Can you get in Bill Belichick's head? What are you thinking? Number 23 overall.
Well, number 23 or the 23rd overall pick. I'm still having nightmares from what I saw in the Super Bowl, which was your defensive backs getting torched, couldn't cover anything, couldn't cover a bed, they couldn't cover anything.
But at the same time, Butler was not in the game.
Yes, which is why I believe they will draft Derwin James, the safety out of Florida State. The Patriots need an athlete back there. They need an athletic player out there, someone who you can put all over the field. Who was the last defensive back that that Belichick has had that could do that? Rodney Harrison?
Rodney Harrison.
Yeah, and that's been years ago. So I believe they will go with Derwin James. This guy is freakishly athletic. He can do a lot of things, and he can help that defense out tremendously.
I will be shocked if Derwin James falls to the 23 spot. I'd love the pick. If he's there, then that's a no-brainer. I don't think he falls to 23. We shall see. My biggest concern, I've said this on this show before, was left tackle, replacing Nate Solder. I'm going to go with another guy who's been linked to the Patriots. That's Connor Williams from Texas.
Okay.
You said him.
I have him going to Seattle.
Yeah, he could drop. He's definitely one of those guys that could drop. He's big. He's athletic. I guess he has good technique. I don't really know what that means, but that's what I read. Yeah. He has good technique. So I think that he'd fit in. If he's a guy that can start right away, I don't know, but left tackle, in my opinion, is the biggest thing when you have an aging quarterback that you need to fill that gap.
Aging is an understatement.
That's true. When you have a senior citizen quarterback, might be a little bit more accurate.
Yeah. So now we go with the Carolina Panthers. Now this is another team that fails to protect their quarterback. They're just lucky that you have a defensive end playing quarterback, because Cam Newton is bigger than a whole lot of defensive players. So I believe Colton Miller will fall to the Panthers because they really need to protect him. The things they haven't done for Cam Newton is surround him with offensive talent and protect him. So I think this is a start with getting Colton Miller.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's nobody for Cam Newton to throw the ball to. I mean, they got rid of Kelvin Benjamin. So I'm going to go with the big 6'4" guy who you just mentioned a little bit out of SMU, and that's Cortland Sutton. I could see Cortland also going to Dallas. Yeah. Easily could go to Dallas. But I think that Cam Newton needs somebody to throw the ball to. They got some dynamic playmakers. McCaffrey's a dynamic playmaker. But Olsen's getting up there in age. I mean, really, who's there? Funchess? Is Funchess a number one receiver?
The guy who just watched the ball drop in the end zone when he could have went for it in the playoff game. That guy?
Yeah, no, that guy. That you don't want him to be your number one receiver, and I think he's probably the number one receiver on the depth chart right now. Am I right, or am I drawing a blank?
They did get Torrey Smith, but
Torrey Smith, guy, he runs one route. Okay, we saw what he did in Philadelphia. No good on Torrey Smith. So they do need to surround him with some offensive linemen and some receiver talent.
Yeah,
could go either way. I like Sutton here.
All right, now with the Tennessee Titans, that's another team they have some needs. I'm just. This one I was just like, this team.
You can just pick it out.
You can go wide receivers. You can go running back. You could go tight end, and you could go anywhere with this. But defense wins championships, so I'm going with Dorian O'Daniel, outside linebacker.
Wow, I don't even know that name. Where's he from?
I forget what school he's from.
Okay, I don't know that name. That's another bold prediction. I'm gonna go with the not so bold. Maybe
that's why these are on. These are the bold prediction glasses.
They really are. So I'm gonna go with the Alabama guy, Rashaan Evans. They need some linebacker help.
Yep.
Can play inside, outside. He's a great tackler. Again, it's one of those ones I think I just said, throw a bunch of names of who's still left in there, and if it's not a quarterback, pull it out the hat, and that's who the Tennessee Titans are going to go with.
Yeah.
Might be the best player left on the board. Who
Probably
knows?
so. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the Falcons, another team that's really hard to predict.
Yeah.
I don't know what their needs are. When you get this high into the draft, the 26 through 32, you're talking about playoff teams who made it pretty far. There's really no glaring holes I could see with any of these teams coming up. Actually, I won't say that. Jacksonville does. But so who do you like for the Falcons?
Rashaan Evans, the linebacker out of Alabama. Okay. I have him going there because he'll be the best available defensive linebacker at that spot, and it never hurts to get defensive players. With this new age of NFL, you need athletic linebackers to cover some of these receivers, and I think Rashaan Evans is a solid pickup for them.
Okay, I'm going to go Taven Bryan. Did you mention him? I feel like you mentioned him already.
Yeah.
So we talked about him. He's, you had him really high. Mm-hmm. He's 291 pounds, and he runs a sub 540, which is pretty impressive. So he's a good athlete. Yeah. The Falcons could use somebody to jam that middle, going against Drew Brees in the NFC South and Cam Newton, so you want somebody to jam that up. I don't know. One of those things could go a bunch of different directions. Yep. Saints, sticking with NFC South.
Saints, I think they're going to go with the receiver Anthony Miller.
Anthony Miller. Yep. Okay, another unfamiliar name that I haven't seen in many first-round projections.
You got to look at these things, man.
I have been looking. But these are some bold picks.
Hey, I'm full of them.
I think I'm going to go with the guy Hayden Hurst, the tight end, best tight end in the draft. Are they finally going to find a replacement for Jimmy Graham? I don't know if Hayden Hurst is the guy. He could be. He's got good size. What is he, 6'5", 250 pounds?
Yeah.
Definitely the best tight end in the draft. There aren't that many of them. Mm-hmm. So I think he's probably the only one that's going to go in the first round if he does. And I think that he'd be a perfect fit for a post-Jimmy Graham New Orleans Saints team.
As long as he can block, he'll be fine.
He can block too.
Yeah, so he'll be good for that offense. Now, who we got at number 28?
One of your other favorite teams, the Steelers.
Oh, another team's history shows that they always go defense in their first round. So, Jason Cabinda. Inside linebacker out of Penn State.
Okay, I can see that.
Linebacker, University, Penn State.
I'm gonna go with Mike Hughes from UCF. He's had off the field issues. Some accusations, I'm not going to go into that, but I don't think it's going to stop an undisciplined team like the Steelers from drafting him. They don't always make the best institutional decisions with the team. This guy's University of Central Florida. I think he'd probably go higher if it wasn't for all the off-the-field issues. Yeah. He's definitely a strong player. And Steelers, I think if you're going to get past that, it's a risk. You always take a risk with these guys with off-the-field issues because you never know what's going to come up again after the player's drafted. But I think that he's a good player for this spot in the draft.
And so who we have next? We have the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I believe, this was a tough one for me, but I think Shaq Griffin.
Shaq Griffin?
I think Shaq Griffin will be going there. Florida guy. Puzlewski, I can't pronounce his name.
Puzlewski.
Yeah, he just retired. So I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna pick him, Shaq Griffin. He'll add to that linebacker core that they have with Miles Jack. I forget the other guy's name, but he was athletic too. So I think that'd be a good pickup for them.
I'm going to go with Christian Kirk because they do need somebody to throw the ball to, Bortles. They lost Allen Robinson. They lost Hearns.
Yeah.
So Christian Kirk out of Texas A&M, he's probably the best wide receiver left on the board. Like I said, they're not. It's kind of a weak wide receiver group.
Yeah.
But they do need some more offensive weapons. If they're smart, they'll pick up another one. It'll be a young wide receiver core for the Jaguars. But if you want Blake Bortles to succeed, you got to put him with as many weapons on offense as you can. So that's where I'm going here. Now we're on to the Vikings.
Protect your quarterback.
Yes.
This is a theme for me. Protect the quarterback. Willie Hernandez will be is a solid pickup for them, a guy that'll be able to protect Kirk Cousins. He'll help out with the running game. I believe Dalvin Cook will be coming back. So Will Hernandez.
I'm going to go with Isaiah Wynn from Georgia. He's a guy who can play guard or tackle. But you're right. When you invest that much money in Kirk Cousins, your number one priority is to keep the guy safe. And they have wide receivers. They have Thielen. They have Diggs. They got a running back in Cook. They got a tight end in Kyle Rudolph. So there's a lot of weapons there for Cousins. Offensive line, a little bit of an issue. He's not the most mobile guy. So it's definitely, again, one of those toss-ups where you don't know who it's going to be, but I think where Wynn can play both guard and tackle position. He played in the SEC against some good competition. He's probably going to be the guy, if he's still left, that the Vikings are going to look to.
Yeah, that'll be a solid pickup. Now the Patriots with their second pick in the first round at number 31. So this is where the boldest of bold predictions are being made for me. Lamar Jackson will be drafted by the New England Patriots with the number 31 pick, and he will be the future quarterback for the Patriots.
That's not that bold of a prediction. That's not that bold of a prediction.
I know.
So this is funny. You're picking your guy, and I'm picking my guy, Mason Rudolph.
You and Mason Rudolph, man.
Yeah, you and Lamar.
I told you these Big 12 quarterbacks, man.
Hey, you know what? Some people have him the number one guy in the draft. I don't know, number one quarterback in the draft. I forget. I think it might be Jason Luck-and-Fort. It's a big name person that says he's the best. I don't know exactly who. I'll do some research.
I want to know what's in his cup.
But I think they're going to have to stick with the rest of the AFC East teams and draft a quarterback in the first round. That'll be all four in my draft. Totally possible. All four AFC East teams will take a quarterback in the first round. If Lamar Jackson is still around, I don't think he will be. He might be the better pick, but then again, does he really fit into Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels' offensive scheme? Don't know. We don't know yet.
Right. Sometimes you got to adjust your scheme to your personnel. So
you do, but again, you got. If God forbid if Brady got injured, that's something you got to do this year. That's hard to do because he would be the number 2 guy on the roster. I'm guessing they're not going to hold on to Hoyer.
They adjusted one game to Jacoby Brissett, so I think
that's true. That's true.
To do it.
But I think the Patriots. I think we're in agreement that they need a quarterback at either the 31 spot or at the second round. What is it? They have the number, their early second round pick. They need a quarterback. Kraft has already come out and said that they need to draft a quarterback early on. They need to get there. You like your guy, I like my guy.
They had a quarterback, but they want to trade him for nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. All right, we got 5 minutes left, and we only have one pick, so we won't need all 5 minutes.
Yeah, so another toss-up, the Eagles.
Another toss-up.
At first I thought I was going to pick a receiver for them, but I think Isaiah Wynn doesn't hurt to protect Carson Wentz.
Okay.
He's a solid offensive lineman for them. Played against good competition. He would help their team out. So Isaiah Wynn to the Eagles.
I'm going to go with a guy who, admittedly, I don't know much about except for they say his stock is rising, and I think he has the best name in the draft. Leighton Vander Esch, the defensive end from Boise State. His stock has been rising, and like I said, I like saying his name even though it's kind of difficult. I'd like to know where he's from. The only issue with him is he might actually go earlier, but there's new reports out that he might have a lingering neck issue. So I think that the team doctors are probably looking closely at that. If he falls to number 32, the Eagles, Super Bowl champ, they can take a risk on a guy like that for the first round because he does have a high ceiling. But again, if the neck injury rumors are true, something that could be a high risk for sure.
He'll be a 3rd, 4th round pick if that's the case.
If that is the case. All right, so that is our draft special. Oh, wait, you do the outro. I'm stepping on you. I'm stepping on you.
See what happens you see what happens? I got the shades on. Brian's trying to take away my shine.
Sorry about that.
Oh, man.
I'll have shades next week.
These diva personalities we got working here. All right, that's our draft special. NFL draft is this Thursday with the first round. Just watch it on all the channels, ESPN, Fox, NFL Network if you have it. Stream it, Twitter, follow on Twitter.
I think that'd be confusing watching on all channels.
Hey, some people got the TVs with the 4 screens.
Oh, that's right. I don't have one of those.
I don't either. Well, I think I do, but I just don't know how to work it.
Okay.
So, yeah. Well, on that note, you guys have been watching After the Whistle. I'm your host, Mukala Kabongo, along with Brian Dorrington. Check us out, Facebook, Twitter, Lynn Community Television, YouTube, subscribe, Lynn Community Television. We got new interns here, yay!
Yes, co-op students.
Yeah, you guys from Tech, right? Lynn Tech is just providing us with a whole bunch of stuff. But check us, we'll be back Friday. We'll recap the draft. We'll talk about NBA playoffs. Good luck to the Bruins tonight. Finish that game out. And yeah, all that good stuff. Movie night next month. Oh, in a couple of weeks, right?
Yes. In the second Friday.
Second Friday of May. What are we watching? Flash Gordon?
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon. That's what we're watching. If you didn't come out to the first one, come out. We got popcorn and candy. It's free. Bring your children if you want to.
Sure.
Have fun with us. We're all about inclusion. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.